And welcome to Ask Your Academic. Today's session will cover the MSc Cancer Research and Precision Oncology and the MSc Precision Medicine with Specialisms. We're joined by a number of our programme leads and academics, and they're here to answer any questions you might have about the programmes that they work on. A number of questions have been submitted beforehand, so we'll do our best to get through all of those, but if you do have any other questions, please use the chat box and we'll do our best to get through them all. If after the session you have any further questions, you can email the programme administration teams and I'll pop the links into the chat as well, but you can find them on the web pages on our website near the top in the blue box for those. We are recording the session, so we will get that sent out to you after today's session. And I'll also pop some useful links into the chat box for you to help with anything you may have about funding, scholarships or your application. So we don't have very long, so if it's all right, I'll get you all to introduce yourself, and if you could give an overview of the programmes, that would be great.
I'll start. So I'm Helen Wheadon. I'm one of the directors of our Masters for the Cancer Research and Precision Oncology. I'm one of the group leaders in the School of Cancer Sciences at the University of Glasgow. I'm based at the Paula Gorman Leukemia Research Centre, and my research focuses on stem cells and the bone marrow microenvironment.
Hi.
Go for it, Joanne.
I'm Professor Joanne Edwards. I'm the Director of Education for the School of Cancer Sciences, and the Cancer Research Precision Oncology is one of the master programmes that we offer. And my research interest is looking at tumour signalling and interaction with tumour microenvironment in colorectal cancer. I have a research team based in the Wilson Wall Cancer Research Centre in Gaspé Estate.
I'm Dr. Laura Richmond. I'm the other co-director of the MSc in Cancer Research and Precision Oncology with Helen, and I'm also the postgraduate teaching lead for the School of Cancer Sciences, so I look after all of our postgraduate students.
Hello, my name's Dr. Carolyn Loveridge. I'm a lecturer in the MBLS graduate school, and I'm one of the directors of the MSc Precision Medicine with Specialisms programmes. I do have two other colleagues who are co-directors of the programme, Dr. Leslie Graham and Dr. Martin McBride. Unfortunately, they are not able to be here today, but my background is in cancer research, but now I'm one of the directors of this MSc programme. So perhaps I'll maybe give you a quick overview of the Precision Medicine programme, and then we can go back to the cancer programme. Is that all right with everybody else? Yeah. Okay, so for the Precision Medicine with Specialisms programme, this MSc programme has at its centre the triple helix of precision medicine. So by that we mean links between the health service, industry and academia. And all students study core courses which are focused on key aspects of precision medicine, and we also have the optional specialisms courses. We have 3 specialism options for the programme: cardiovascular disease, cancer and immunology. So the core courses which you would study, as I say, do centre around key aspects of precision medicine. So we have precision diagnostics and therapeutics, research skills for precision medicine, that's a lab-based course. We have the World Changers Distinguished Seminar Series, so we have speakers from all 3 aspects of the triple helix of precision medicine. So we have experts from academia, from industry and the health service as part of that seminar series. We also have courses on pharmacogenomics and introduction to omics and R. For the specialisms, for the cardiovascular specialism, you'll study clinical aspects of cardiovascular disease and basic science of cardiovascular disease. For the cancer specialism, you'll do hallmarks of cancer and the cancer microenvironment and biomarkers. For immunology, we have principles of immunology and inflammatory disease. And just to make you aware that you cannot switch or pick and choose between the specialism courses, you have to take the courses that are for a particular specialism. Okay, so thank you. I'll hand back over to the cancer people now and they can tell you all about their programme.
No, yes, sorry, I'm just getting my slides ready in the background here. So the MSc in Cancer Research and Precision Oncology, we take quite a specialised look into many aspects of cancer research, using what we call a bench to bedside approach. So we're looking at everything right from the basic science all the way through to how that is translated to patient care. And this is sort of led and taught by a multidisciplinary team of really world-class, world-leading cancer researchers. So I'm just going to pull my slides up here if I can and show you approximately how the programme looks. So as with all of the MSCs, we're taught over 2 teaching semesters and a project semester. Can you guys see this okay? Are you seeing the, yep, excellent. So within semester 1, we'll start off with some sort of foundational knowledge that really we need everybody to have going forward. So we'll look at the hallmarks of cancer, first of all, some core skills in cancer research, which will involve you being in the lab for a week. And then we move on to look at stem cells, metastasis, and the microenvironment. In semester 2, you'll be looking at the processes of cancer drug discovery, drug development and clinical trials, immunotherapy and precision oncology, and then finally we move on to the project design course, which is a course that's intended to get you some basics in project design, data analysis, and also to prepare you for your research project. Which is the big exciting project over the summer that everyone's always looking forward to. And in tandem with this, you'll also be attending the Distinguished Seminar Series. This is run out of the CR UK Beatson Institute and involves seminars from various group leaders, scientists who are working within the Beatson and within the School of Cancer Sciences, and also often external speakers as well. So this gives you the opportunity to get really involved in the research that is ongoing within the school and also that's ongoing within the sort of wider cancer sciences field. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about what sort of each course encompasses, but that hopefully gives you a nice broad overview, and I know we're quite tight for time, so I will pass back to Naomi and we'll open up to any questions that you have, and please feel free to ask about any of the specific courses or any other aspect of the Masters.
Thank you. We actually had a couple of questions about the project element of the different programmes. So people wanting to know how they pick their topic, their supervisor. Laura, you're off your mic's off. Do you want to go first? Just
yeah, absolutely. So the way this works is that supervisors across, in this case, the School of Cancer Sciences, are asked to submit projects for prospective students, and those projects go into a pool of projects. What will happen then is that pool is opened up to our cohort of students, and everyone will indicate approximately their top 3 to 5 choices. And then I will go through all of those choices and I will manually assign the projects to the students based on their preference. So we always aim to try and give students one of their top 3 selected projects. And in choosing your projects, I would always advise that you make contact with potential supervisors throughout the year. If there's a particular supervisor that you're interested in working with, then you can absolutely approach them at some point throughout the year and discuss with them the possibility of working with them on a project and ask them to submit that particular project.
So perhaps I can just add to what Laura said there for the precision medicine programme. So very similarly to what Laura has said, essentially there's a pool of projects. Supervisors submit projects to the pool, and we assign students to projects on the basis of what projects we have in the pool. So students will submit their top 5 choices from the list of projects that are in the pool, and we do try to allocate students one of their top 5 projects. The project allocation usually takes place in April. I think that was part of what you might want to know that in terms of when these things happen. So it's usually in April that this process happens, and our projects, just to say, they run for 12 weeks in the summer. It's usually from mid-May to the start of August that the projects run. So for precision medicine with specialisms, we do actually offer external projects as well. So again, in keeping with the triple helix of precision medicine, we do have projects from NHS collaborators and also from industrial partners as well. So yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And then there was a question about the cancer research programme, but it probably applies to both. Is what sort of materials should international students bring with them to start their programme?
Oh, Helen, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to bring anything with you, just enthusiasm, really. I mean, if you want to do some preparation, there's some future learn courses you can look at. So there's Cancer in the 21st Century. So we'd recommend maybe you go through that, and that gives you some more basic knowledge on cancer. We do have a couple of recommended textbooks also, you know, depending on how much cancer knowledge you already have. So there's The Biology of Cancer by Robert Weinberg, which is a really good book. We also have Practical Skills in Biomolecular Sciences by Jonathan Weyers, which is also another good book to maybe familiarise yourself with if you want to do some background reading. But I mean, you can also just go on PubMed and maybe read a few reviews on cancers just to get a better idea about the cancer field and some of the terminology which you're going to encounter when you start. So you're more familiar with some of the key words, like, you know, oncogenes and tumor suppressor genes and things like that, you know, which you're covering in your first course. The first course is more of a basic course. It gets more advanced as we go through the sort of 5 weeks, but it's designed to bring everybody up to the same level so that they've got the basic knowledge of cancer treatments and sort of, you know, the patient journey a bit as well. So is there anything you want to add, Laura?
And Carolyn, is there anything that you would say for students to bring with them for your programme?
I think just really very similar to what Helen said. I don't know that I've got too much more to add to that. Obviously, yes, please bring your enthusiasm, and I hope you will really enjoy coming to Glasgow and studying here. I do have a few books that I could potentially recommend if you wanted to do a little bit of study. I'll just post this to the chat if I can. Oh. Okay, for some reason it's not letting me actually see that, how to post on the window. Okay, well, perhaps we can post this after, but I've got a few books that I can potentially recommend. I will leave a list with Naomi, maybe to post. Most of our reading is based on journal papers. So again, as Helen suggested, maybe looking at review, maybe some review articles in the area that might relate to your choice of specialism. So yeah, I think I would really just suggest that, just to sort of get some basic level of knowledge and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. And then there was a question for yourself, Carolyn, and it was, during our studies, do we have a chance to participate in any clinical trial or project with the application of precision medicine?
So as I'd mentioned, we do have external projects that we can offer as part of this programme. So some of these are in the NHS and might potentially be linked with a clinical trial, but it's really more translational research projects that we have, as opposed to actually working on clinical trials. But there might be some potential to work on a clinical trial, but it's probably more unlikely than likely.
Within the Cancer Research Precision Oncology programme, we have several supervisors that run clinical trials. For example, Campbell Roxburgh runs PRIME-RT, and his master students often have the opportunity to do work based on samples from these trials. So not directly working in the trial itself, but working on samples from clinical trials. I've also got a cohort of patients from the Scott clinical trial in colon cancer that we can offer students as projects. So there is opportunities to work in projects on clinical trial samples and databases.
Perfect. And then there was another one there about the precision medicine MSc, and it was for someone that has done their bachelor's in life sciences. What do I need to know before entering the precision medicine MSc?
So I would say that if your background is life sciences and your degree's in life sciences, then that's a really great great background for the MSc. If you aren't, what I would suggest, just as I said a short while ago, if you're not maybe as familiar with the area of the chosen specialism, then you might want to do some reading in that area would be what I would suggest. So if it's a very kind of broad life sciences background, then I would maybe focus on your choice of specialism and what you can bring to that.
Thank you. And then there was one for the Cancer Research and Precision Oncology programme, and it was, I want to ask whether this programme covers microbiology of malignancies.
So this would sort of be encompassed by potentially the research project. If there was a specific area that you were wanting to look into, then I would advise taking your sort of interest in a specific area like that, and potentially driving it forward, even if it's not covered in the top material, but driving it forward with your project.
Thank you. And then we were also asked what lab skills students will learn throughout their programme. So Laura, do you want to go first on that one, because you'd mentioned one of the courses covered lab skills?
Yeah, absolutely. So within the core skills in cancer research block, you'll have a week of doing practical work in the lab. And obviously with this being a fairly limited time, what we try and do is cover some of the bread and butter techniques. So you'll be using some qPCR, you'll be using some Western blotting, so sort of core molecular biology techniques. But out with just the week that we'll have in the lab, you'll also have a number of seminars that are focused around different practical skills in cancer research. So we'll be looking at things like flow cytometry, immunohistochemistry, different forms of PCR. So there's quite a wide range of areas covered in the top components of that. And then obviously once you move forward into your research project, then the skills that you are using for your research project will be very wide and varied depending on what it is that you're actually required to do in the lab.
Thank you. And Carolyn, do you want to take that as well?
Yep, I'm actually just going to very quickly share my screen. Apologies, I hadn't shared this earlier when I was talking about the outline of the programme. So this was a list of courses that I mentioned and gives detail of when the courses run. So in the first semester, as one of the core courses that you'll do, we have the Research Skills in Precision Medicine course. It's a short course. Again, you're in the lab for about a week, just over a week. And the key skills that you'll learn in that course are Western blotting and quantitative real-time PCR. So you'll be extracting extracting RNA from cells and also proteins to then do your qRT-PCR and Western blots. And as Laura said, the main place where you're going to learn your laboratory skills is the research project, which you'll see at the bottom here. And that really, the skills you're going to learn there are dependent on the nature of the project which you're going to do. A lot of, I would say probably cell and molecular biology techniques, potentially maybe flow cytometry, but yeah, I would say kind of cell and molecular biology on the main, maybe some microscopy as well. And then also we do have projects that cover bioinformatic and computational skills as well. So.
Thank you. And you sort of touched on timings there, but someone in the Q&A has asked, how long will we get to spend in the labs?
So the research project is a total of, I believe, 14 weeks start to finish. And we generally advise that the last 2 weeks are your write-up weeks. So you'll spend 12 weeks in the lab, in addition to the 1 week that we have in the top course, but 12 weeks overall for your research project.
Yeah, that's the same for the precision medicine. It's 12 weeks.
Thank you. And then someone's also asked, do they allocate students based on their academic performance? I'm assuming this is maybe relating to projects. If not, if you just pop another question in there, but Carolyn, didn't take that.
Yes, so when we are looking to assign the projects on the basis of your top 5 choices in the precision medicine programme, particularly for the external projects, yes, we would take into account performance to an extent when we're matching up students with projects, and we do.
Yeah, similar case for us in that obviously we allocate based on preference first and foremost. We're not going to give students projects that they've not chosen, but if we have topics that are particularly appealing to lots of people, and we have a lot of students that have picked a particular topic, then we would take academic performance into consideration on that, and we would potentially invite the supervisor to actually informally interview the students, which would take into account their performance as well.
Thank you. And then we're asked about assessments. So how are students assessed throughout their MSc?
I can take that one. So for our programme for the Cancer Research and Precision Oncology, we don't have any exams, so it's all assessment based. We have a wide variety of different ways that we assess the students. So basically this will consist of something different for each of the courses. So we do posters, we do individual presentations, we do group presentations, we do case studies, critical reviews of a scientific paper, annotated bibliographies. I'm trying to think what else we do, an essay, a structured essay. And also obviously when you do your core skills in the laboratory, you'll be writing up your lab book. We also do data analysis assignment as part of that course as well. So throughout you'll get a wide range of skills and be assessed in a variety of ways.
Yeah, so for sorry, Naomi.
No, I was just going to ask, is that the same for precision medicine?
Yeah, so very similar to what Helen said. Yeah, a lot of the she's mentioned the kind of main assessment types there really. Although there are some exams on the precision medicine programme. So it's mainly coursework. So as Helen said, we've got a variety, so it's important that we have a variety of different assessment types. So we have essays, we have presentations, we have posters, we have a lab report for the laboratory skills course. We have a debate in the precision diagnostics and therapeutics course, which students really like. In the past few years, they've found that to be a really good assessment. Annotated bibliographies, computational exercises, that's for the omics and R course. And we do have exams, so that would be for the cardiovascular courses and the pharmacogenomics courses. So.
Thank you. And then there is a question in there for yourself, Carolyn. For written exams, do we depend on memorising slides or journal articles from lectures?
I would say no to that. So in general, we try and design exams so that students are actually having to, it's not just a case of you're recalling facts. So there has to be some kind of higher level. So we tend to maybe try and make it more problem based, and you have to use your knowledge to kind of be able to answer the questions. So you will need to obviously know what you've been taught from your lectures and from what you've read, but really it's about how you apply that knowledge. So yeah.
Thank you. And then there's another question in there. Can I continue my recent cancer drug discovery project from my institution to be my future MSc research project?
I think that would depend on what it was on and whether or not it's an area that we had expertise in and we're working on. So it'd have to align with someone else's research interests. So one of the group leaders would also be having to work in a similar field. And I think it would just depend on, you know, what resources we had, equipment, and what the actual project was. But I mean, it's something that could be discussed when starting.
Laura, did you want to add something in there?
Yeah, no, just as Helen said, I couldn't get the button to unmute my microphone in time there.
I think most questions are in the, oh, there's one just popped through. What campus will the lectures take place? I've seen both the Garscube and also Gilmore listed. So I'm assuming that we'll do both programmes because it will be relevant.
Yep, so for the Cancer Research and Precision Oncology programme, the vast majority of your lectures will be held on the Garscube campus. So there's a seminar room up within the School of Cancer Sciences that the majority of your lectures and teaching will take place in. The exception to that is for the week of the Core Skills in Cancer Research module, you will be on the Gilmore Hill campus, which is the sort of main campus in the West End. But for the majority of the time for Cancer Research and Precision Oncology, you'll be on the Garscube campus.
So for the precision medicine programme, most of your lectures are going to be at on the main campus in Gilmore Hill, with the exception of the cancer specialism, hallmarks of cancer will be at Garscube campus, but otherwise the lectures are on the main campus in Gilmore Hill.
Thank you. And I think we've covered most of the questions that have come through. I suppose just as one final question, what do graduates tend to go on to do once they leave the university? Carolyn, do you want to go first and your mic's off?
Yep, so with the precision medicine programme, our previous graduates, the programme's now been running for 3 years, and we've had good success. So most of our students have gone on to secure employment. And again, this encompasses the triple helix of precision medicine. So we have students that have gone on to go on to study for a PhD. So they've stayed within academia. We've got students who've gone on to work in industrial companies. So for example, we've got one student who went to work for Charles River over in Edinburgh. And we do also have students who have gone on to train to be clinical scientists, to work in the health service. And also we have a student that was working in the NHS tissue research facility as well. So yeah, so really we've got a good range of jobs that students have gone on to do.
I mean, it's very similar for the Cancer Research and Precision Oncology. I'd say we have quite a lot of students who go on to do PhDs in the cancer field. We also have quite a lot of international students who are doctors who come to specialise in cancer. So they basically go back home and go back into the sort of health profession. Quite a few of our students do go in to become like biomedical sciences, clinical scientists within the NHS. a lot go into industry positions as well, because obviously we do all the drug discovery and kind of clinical trial side of it. So some of them have gone into sort of clinical trial units, scientific writing as well. So like for journals as well, we've had quite a few go and take sort of scientific posts within, you know, science journal opportunities. Yes, I can't really think of anything else. Anything else you can think of, Joanne?
I think our main ones is it's a perfect platform for anyone that wants to go out on to do a PhD, opens up opportunities within the NHS industry and scientific and medical writing. So I think you covered it all, Helen. And that the students will get exposed to NHS labs and our industrial partners labs during the masters, so they get to see academia, NHS and industry as part of it.
Was there something you wanted to add in there, Carolyn? Sorry.
Well, no, yeah, sorry. I'd also meant to say about scientific writing as well for our programme. So yeah, we've got students that have gone on to do that as well. So yeah, for example, I think, is it McCann Medical is one of the examples. I think we've had a student that's gone there. So
thank you. It sounds very mixed and very varied. Well, that is now the end of our session. That went by very quickly, and you covered a lot of information there for both programmes. So thank you for that. Hopefully everyone watching found that useful. Like I said, if you have any further questions, please do get in touch with the programme administration team and they'll get back to you with anything that you need. So thanks again everybody for taking time out of your busy day. Hope you found that useful. And yeah, we hope to see you here in September. So thank you and bye-bye.
Bye.